Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. Jaya Jagannath. Welcome to our Smile Daily Srimad Bhagavatam. My name is Nanda Brajadas. I want to welcome you all.
What's new meeting ad?
What's that?
Thanks for you.
I'm gonna. Okay, let's get into our prayers before we get into Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome, Tapos. We're going to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam later on. We'll open it up for questions and we can all discuss or hear anything from anybody participating. Thank you so much for being here. We'll go to our prayers right here. Let me make sure that I'm sharing in on YouTube. We don't want to make that mistake again, right? Share screen. Okay, first we'll light the flame. Om Kravidam Agnim Prahanomi Doram Yamarajam Gachatu Vipravaha. The flame is lit. We're inviting Lord Yamaraj, the Lord of Dharma, to please help us in understanding and serving nicely. And we'll start. You can please chant along while we do our prayers. Om Gyantimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master so kindly opened my darkened eyes with the salve of love. I offer my respectful obeisances. And then we do the next prayer 3 times. For Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vyasadeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Srimad Bhagavatam 124, Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Hudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and to the Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Srimad Bhagavatam 1-18 Nashta Praya Shabreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utam Hashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. In loving service under the person.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Tapasu. Yes. So we're doing our prayers right now. So please stay muted. And at the end of our talk, then we'll open it up for questions and talking, okay? So please stay muted for the moment, and then I'll let you know when we're ready, okay? All that is troublesome in the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service unto the person of God, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. And our Srimad Bhagavatam, our Smiley Daily Srimad Bhagavatam, is always done for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath, under the shelter of Lord Nrsimhadeva, Sudarshana Chakra, and Maha Lakshmi Mata, for the benefit of everyone in our Smile community and for those who we haven't met yet. And we today we're on the 3rd boon of Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the 5 boons written by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Srila Sanatana Goswami's disappearance day is today. It's a very auspicious day. It's Gora Purnima and the disappearance of Sanatana Goswami, one of the great Gaudiya Vaishnava saints. A lot of blessings for today. The 3rd boon is, I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Krishna himself. So this is speaking about the Bhagavatam and that we're bowing down to it, that it's the supreme blissfully to read. We're going to read about today in the 3rd verse, we're going to talk about the supremely blissful to read. So we'll expand on more on that. Every syllable pours down a flood of prema. Sometimes you'll read Srimad Bhagavatam, and if you are asked to speak on it, then you can often get bewildered because there's just so much to give, right? There's so much behind it. And so that's because every syllable is actually opens up this flood of prema, love of God. And so it's often said that we, need to be able to focus on what to give best to the people, to the audience. And most important is that we speak in a way that's pleasurable to the Lord. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. This isn't a sectarian book. It's not that one religion or this or that. Anybody can read this, and they will feel that it is blissful to read, that it will give prema to anyone and everyone, and it's Krishna himself. Okay, so let's get into Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3. We're in Canto 1, and Chapter 1, which is entitled The Questions by the Sages, and this is verse 3. So let's do the word for word first. Nigama, the Vedic literatures. Kalpatoro, the desire tree. Galitam, fully matured. Phalam, fruit. Sukha, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mukhat, from the lips of Amrita, nectar. Drava, semi-solid or soft and therefore easily swallowable. Wow. Samyutam, perfect in all respects. Pibhyata, do relish it. Bhagavatam, the book dealing with the science of the internal relationship with the Lord. Wow, this is a beautiful description of Bhagavatam, right? The book dealing with the science of the internal relation with the Lord. Wow. Vasam, juice, that which is relishable. Alyam, until liberation or even in a liberated condition. Muhum, always. Aho, rasikaha, those who are fully in knowledge of mellows. Bhuvihi, on the earth. Bhavokaha, expert and thoughtful. Now we'll do the Sanskrit verse. Please sing along if you're stay muted, but you can sing along. Nigam kalapa toragalitam phalam sukha mukharapnata drava samutam pivatya bhagavatam rasamalam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Translation and purport as Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O excellent and thoughtful man, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although it is nectarian juice was already relishable by all, including liberated souls. Purport. In the two previous slokas, it has been definitely proved that Srimad Bhagavatam is a sublime literature which is all other Vedic scriptures due to its transcendental qualities. It is transcendental to all mundane activities and mundane knowledge. In this shloka, it is stated that Srimad Bhagavatam is not only a superior literature, but is a ripened fruit of all Vedic literatures. In other words, it's the cream of all Vedic knowledge. Considering all this, patient and submissive hearing is definitely essential. With great respect and attention, one should receive the message and lessons imparted by Srimad Bhagavatam. So, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. And when we're reading it, sometimes it takes some time to be able to orientate ourselves to the Srimad Bhagavatam. The senses aren't so used to reading something so relishable. So they're a little confused, you could say. The mind's a little bit confused, a little bit disoriented. And so through patient and submissive hearing is definitely essential. Through submissive and patient hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, our mind, our senses start to orient. Our intelligence starts to orient. And we start to remember, oh yeah, I remember we talked about that yesterday. Oh, I know what's going on. But at first it's a little bit tough. But we can persevere. We can tolerate. So the tolerance is to understand the priorities and our goal, and any disturbances that are happening don't distract us from the goal. They don't distract us from the priority. And so our priority is to have a relationship with the Lord, and there's no better way, no better literature to read to gain that eternal relationship with the Lord than the Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's remember that goal and have some faith, confidence that it will take us to there. And let's continue to patiently and submissively hear and work on it and ask questions. And then we'll gradually see that we're making progress. And that's what we want to do. We want to be a culture of making progress. That's what SMYHL is about. We make sure that we're taking a step forward in the right direction and continue. And so, yes, let's continue. The Vedas are compared to the desire tree because they contain all things knowable by man. They deal with mundane necessities as well as spiritual realization. The Vedas contain regulative principles of knowledge covering social, political, religious, economic, military, medicinal, chemical, physical, and metaphysical subject matters. And all that may be necessary to keep the body and soul together. Above and beyond all of this are specific directions of spiritual realization. Regulative knowledge involves a gradual raising of the living entity to the spiritual platform, and the highest spiritual realization is knowledge that the personality of Godhead is a reservoir of all spiritual tastes or rasas. So here we hear about the Vedas, which deal with religion and all kinds of different principles of knowledge, have a vast pool of knowledge. And so in our program SMYHL, we call total health empowerment. We have understand that the Vedas are dealing with total health empowerment, religion's dealing with total health empowerment, meant to bring a person to the mode of goodness, to spiritual, and then transcendental health. So we have the 10 dimensions of life, right? Financial, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, social, environmental, locational, spiritual, and transcendental. And so the Vedas are dealing with all of these 10 dimensions. And we want to have a nice steadiness in all of these, but there's two that are most important. And then of those two, there's one even most important. And the two that are most important are spiritual and transcendental. And of the two, transcendental. Now, what about the first 8 right here? These first 8 are meant to be tools used to serve these two. So spiritual life is spiritual health. The dimension of spiritual is the Atma, or the science of self-realization. And transcendental is the eternal relationship with the Supreme Person, our relationship with God. And so we want to live a life of magnificent greatness. We want to fire on all 10 cylinders so that we can serve nicely our relationship with the Lord. So the Vedas deal with all these, and we have wonderful science of how to deal with these different dimensions of life so that we can serve nicely Krishna and his children. Every living entity is a child of God, and we want to serve nicely. We want to be able to provide massive value to others. Let's continue. So Srila Prabhupada just mentioned the reservoir of all spiritual tastes or rasas. Okay, every living entity, beginning from Brahma, the firstborn living being within the material world, down to the insignificant ant, desire to relish some sort of taste derived from sense perception. The sensual pleasures are technically called rasas. Such rasas are different varieties. In the revealed scriptures, the following 12 varieties of rasas are enumerated: Rudra, anger; Adbhuta, wonder; 3, Shringara, conjugal love; 4, Hasya, comedy; 5, Vira, chivalry; 6, Daya, mercy; 7, Dasya, servitorship; 8, Sakya, fraternity; 9, Bhayanka, or horror. 10, bibhatsa, shock. 11, shanta, neutrality. And 12, vatsalya, parenthood. He's speaking about rasa in this next paragraph too, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. The sum total of all these rasas is called affection or love. Primarily, such signs of love are manifested in adoration, service, friendship, paternal affection, and conjugal love. And when these five are absent, love is present in anger, wonder, comedy, chivalry, fear, shock, and so on. For example, when a man is in love with a woman, the rasa is called conjugal love. But when such love affairs are disturbed, there may be wonder, anger, shock, or even horror. Sometimes love affairs between two persons culminate in ghastly murder scenes. Such rasas are displayed between man and between animal and animal. Possibly exchange of rasa between man and animal, or between man and any other species of living in the material world. The rasas are exchanged between members of the same species. But as far as the spirit souls are concerned, they are one qualitatively with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the rasas were originally exchanged between the spiritual being and the spiritual whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual exchange, or rasa, is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living beings and the Supreme Lord. Okay, so as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the very first, that every living entity has some sort of taste that they want to relish, that we call this natural instincts. Every living entity has natural instincts and desires, from the human down to the ant. And quite often, we become frustrated because of these desires, because they're not fulfilling the happiness or the joy that we are really looking for. It's temporary. Or we get something that we desire, source of anxiety for us. For instance, I don't know if you remember, if you have your first car. Not too long ago, my daughter got her first car, and she was so excited that she got her brand new car. So much freedom, right? I don't know if you guys remember your first car, but I remember I was feeling the same, right? Yeah, I can go and pick up my friends and I can go do this. And so it gave her so much joy, this brand new car. But then the bill for insurance came, and it was like over $250. And then it was that thing that was a source of pleasure became a source of anxiety. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to work so much just to pay the insurance. And then that car, eventually we need to, the change oil light comes on. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend an hour, I got to drive there, get the oil change, and they're going to try to sell me an air filter or this or that, or want me to get the premium service and stuff like that. And anyways, that it becomes a source of anxiety. And so this is the material nature, what derives from it. It becomes a source of anxiety, actually. So the living entity desiring full taste of happiness and bliss continues to look for it, but continuing to be frustrated. Sometimes what happens is that people try to talk us into that don't have any desires at all. If desires aren't making you happy, are a source of your frustration, then maybe we should just make it zero. This is a real predatory philosophy. It's playing on our trauma of the fact that our desires are causing us stress. And so it says, make everything zero, voidism. And it sounds very attractive. It makes logical sense. Oh, if this is causing me problems, if I get rid of it, then I won't have any problems, right? But Srila Prabhupada and the Bhagavatam are making very clear that actually rasa of relationships is part of the nature of the soul. But we're finding these frustrations because we're trying to find them disconnected from the Lord. We're trying to find him through material happiness that's disconnected from Krishna. It's not in relationship with the Supreme Person. And so therefore we get this quality of outcome. But if we switch our outcome to the Lord is in our heart and we are in his heart, and we think about how we are doing things always for his pleasure, always in connection with him, then we get a different outcome, because now we're dealing with a spiritual nature. Whenever you're dealing or working or connected with the Supreme Person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, God, then you're dealing with a different kind of nature, a different energy. There's material nature and there's spiritual nature. Disconnected from God is material. Connected to God is spiritual. And so this connection of spiritual nature brings us up to a true happiness. And so the point here is that we all have these rasas, these tastes. And more importantly, is Krishna has a taste that he's looking for in us, that's completely authentic, that's completely unique to us. And when we are disconnected from that, we shrivel like a dying plant that's not getting water, and that water being the relationship with the Lord. But when we have that relationship, it's like watering, and then we have a nice lively plant, right? So we want to have these rasas, these different connections with the Supreme Lord, so that we can become happy. See if we can go this paragraph. Yeah, let's do this one paragraph, and then we might end with some questions and stuff. Okay, the sum total of all these rasas is called affection or love. Okay, we already did that. Yes, because we want to love the Lord, right? Okay, let's do these two. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore described as, in the Shruti mantras, Vedic hymns, as the fountainhead of all rasas. When one associates with the Supreme Lord, that exchanges one's constitutional rasa with the Lord, then the living being is actually happy. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying right there. Right? He's saying that connect your rasas with Krishna and actually become happy. These Shruti mantras include that every living being has a constitutional position, a completely unique and authentic relationship with the Lord, which is endowed with a particular type of rasa to be exchanged with the personality of Godhead. In the liberated condition, only this is a primary rasa experienced in full. In the material existence, a rasa is experienced in a perverted form, which is temporary, and thus the rasa of the material world are exhibited in the material form of rudra, anger, and so on. Frustration, right? That's what we were talking about. We in the material world, we exhibit these rasas, and they become anger, frustration, and so many different things that are not satisfying to us. So we want rasa, we want connection, we want relationship, and so that's meant for the Supreme Person. So in SMYHL, in AMYA, our community here, we work together to help each other, to encourage each other, and work together so that we can have that rasa with Krishna. We can have that taste. We're all meant to come together and cooperate so that we can please the Lord in so many different ways. Okay, I think I'll stop there. And okay, Tapos left, so there's no questions there. Let's go back to, we'll stop sharing right here. It's going to be a little crazy for a second, right? So again, if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for participating. If you have any questions, you can put them as a comment on this video, or we have our Ask a Brahmana page where you can do that, and we'll link that right here. You can ask a question and it will be answered. I want to thank you all again, everybody. it's a blessing to be able to be part of this community, and I appreciate you all who are spending the time to come and listen. It's very pleasing to the Lord. That's the purpose for this, is to please the Lord. When we talk and hear about the Lord, he becomes happy. It's pretty amazing that he becomes happy just from that. And so let's continue. I wish you all a very wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna, Jaya JayaSri Jagannath.